Hey, good morning. This is Christian Buckley, and you're in the loop. And we're here today with, well, a few different folks. Let them introduce themselves, talking about Microsoft Stream. But first off, Noah, great to see you.
Great to see you, Christian. Noah Sparks here, Product Solutions Manager at Brainstorm, coming to you from Salt Lake City. We were going to get together, Christian, but
we're so close. We're so close. I've
very
got
close.
Disheveled the office, the studio's getting set up still, but the next one will definitely be in here together, sitting, lounging with beverages in front of the screen. So
sure.
And then Christina.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me today. My name is Christina Torok. I'm the Microsoft Marketing Manager for Stream, and today we're going to talk to you a little bit about that. We're very excited.
Excellent. And Marc.
Hey everyone, I'm Marc Mroz. I'm a program manager on Microsoft Stream. Have been in kind of the enterprise video space for the last bunch of years, and I work out of the Chicago area.
It's great to have you guys, because this is something that, as Noah and I were talking about, different product groups that we want to focus on initially as we get the series up and going, and of course video is such a huge part of the way that information workers spend their time these days, whether you're capturing video for a webinar or a meeting where you're just trying to record that, or if you are trying to put together documentation to support new employee onboarding or what have you. There's all these things where it's so much easier and more effective to have video rather than the traditional document. And so it's great to look at how Microsoft is evolving their strategy here, because a lot of folks are familiar with and have been for the last couple of years, the Office 365 video. And then the automatic question is, well, what's happening with that? How does Stream relate to it? But why don't we, I know, Marc, you've got you want to do a demo here, and if you could go down and share your screen, but why don't we walk through a kind of an overview of what Stream is today, and then we can get into some of those questions.
Cool, sounds good. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Can see it.
Cool. So this is Microsoft Stream. It is an enterprise video solution, and it's automatically part of all of the Office 365 licenses, and you get it kind of for free automatically as part of that. You can easily get to Stream from going to the top navigation bar here and clicking on Stream. It's just a tile just like any of the other tiles in the Office suite. So at the very top of Stream, we have kind of trending videos and spotlight videos where owners in the organization can pin videos to the top of their video portal. And then we have trending ones, which are just kind of based on clicks and views, and they kind of trend up and down as people watch stuff. And then as we kind of scroll down on the screen, we have we start making Stream a bit more personal. So we have this concept of watch list, where if you're wanting to, you don't have time to watch a video, but you want to jump back and watch it later, you can simply add it to your watch list, and then now it's here. And we'll talk about later, you'll be able to pull these up on your mobile app that we're building as well in the coming months. And then below that, we have trending videos, popular channels, and I can even have I could follow channels as well, which I don't have in this environment here, but I could follow channels and see new upcoming videos for those individual channels. If I jump over into an individual video itself, it looks like any other sort of video player that you've seen. But what we're really trying to do with Microsoft Stream is make videos not be so a black box where you can't find what's happening inside of them. Today, if someone sends you a Word document or a PowerPoint file, you kind of can hit Control F, scroll the table of contents, jump around. In videos, it's really hard. You can't really find the videos. It's only based off of the title, description, metadata you put in there. But what we're doing here is we do speech to text based off of what's said in the video. So I didn't type up this transcript, but this was generated automatically by the cloud, by AI, to be able to tell us what's being said in the video. And then I can do some really interesting things here. So if I wanted to search for the word aviation, I could just paste in the word aviation here and search for it. And now it's going to show me all of these different points in time in the video where aviation was mentioned. So here at 1815, partnerships with aviation. If I click on it, now it'll jump me right to that part of the video. It'll start scrolling that transcript so I can see it on the side, and it'll get me to that exact part of the video that I want. So it's super cool, super powerful to find the pieces of video that you want.
And Marc, so I know we're going to talk a little bit about integrations, so Teams and SharePoint and Yammer and other platforms and what that looks like. But maybe just as you just covered what you just described, so what does that look like in a search experience? If I've got my intranet up and we're adding in these video resources, training materials, And we've got our frequently asked questions for these new employees that are being onboarded, and they're going in and searching on this. So what is that experience? Are they finding in their search results links to where a conversation happened in a recorded video?
Yeah, so if you come to Stream and you do that same search across in Stream itself, we'll return you not just where videos where it was mentioned, aviation was mentioned in the title or description. We'll actually return you points in time in that video where that is mentioned. So, so here we can say that, you can see it's not mentioned here in the title description, but I can click this and now I would jump 14 minutes in and I'd be able to find it. Today, this works in Stream directly. We are working on the ability to pull our video and the deep search based off of what's said in the video into enterprise search. So if you were searching in office.com or in SharePoint search or enterprise search, then our videos would come up. Today, that's not possible. That's something that's on our list of things that we want to do in the future.
Yeah, that's power. Sorry, no, go ahead.
Being for Business is also a place that we're eager to see some of these results surface as well.
Yeah,
we're into that team, but.
Yeah, we're kind of talking with all the teams that kind of power the enterprise search and how that stuff manifests in all the different places. And Bing search for business is also one of those other places that if we get our videos into the right place, then they would be surfaced kind of everywhere across Office.
Brilliant.
It's interesting when we talk about intelligent applications, intelligent platforms, and that capability. And I mean, it really just kind of shows how important it is that you have this integrated experience across all of the various the workloads that you're engaged within, your team is working with, so that you're not having to jump over to another data silo to go find that information. So I know that is something that Microsoft is looking at, all of the conversations that happen around Office 365 groups and Graph and all of the AI and ML, the machine learning capabilities, the artificial intelligence capabilities. I mean, all of those things are starting to surface from and drawing from resources, data like this, like these videos, to be able to provide those experiences.
Yeah, some of the other cool machine learning type stuff that we're doing to be able to kind of make videos not be so black box and can't find them is we also do face detection. So we analyze the video and we look at, hey, this person appeared 10 times in the video. We don't know that it's John Smith or Marc Mroz or Christina Torok, but we know that this person's face appeared 10 times in the video. And so this is super powerful for like, a 2-hour long all hands or company meeting, and you don't have time to watch the whole thing. You just kind of want to watch the part where your VP or your leader in your organization got up there and talked about your department. So now you can kind of open up this people tab underneath the video, and you can kind of just see, oh, we show these faces, these 3 people appeared in the video. You can see these little white bubbles of where they appeared. So if I want to see where this lady appeared here, I can click on it, and that'll jump me right to that part of the video. If I want to see again where she appears later, I can actually click here, and then it'll show me again she appeared a little bit later. So again, a super powerful way to kind of discover the parts of your video that are actually useful to you, and not have to kind of watch entire videos end to end, but consume what is useful to you.
Yeah, that's very cool. I mean, that's look. I mean, it's funny as a marketing guy. When you think of marketing is so much more effective when it's personalized for the viewer, for the receiver of this. And I mean, video is the exact same way. I mean, I think it's less effective where you're digging through to try and find the information. So as much as you can surface what's actually happening and who's in there and the topics being covered, it's going to make that more relevant. So where it's kind of like nobody buys. I'm a music guy, just like music collector, 80s new wave, the European new wave music mostly, and so it kills me that like talk to my kids about what's the album, and get the question like album. There's just the songs that you download, Dad. It's there's not an album. And so you're not having to go and dig through that. You're able to go and consume, take a little sip of that, of what would be the traditional album, but same with the video. So anyway, it's really cool things that you go and do from an information worker knowledge capture standpoint.
Yeah, totally. And then I can go ahead. Just
to mention, video's been around in the enterprise for a while. People may have turned to Office 365 video or other solutions. Talk to us about what would be the impetus to make a move to Stream, for example.
Christina, you want to cover that one?
Yeah, sure. So at Microsoft, we've been making a lot more investments in video, as we talked about a little bit at the top of this hour. And as part of those investments, we really looked at what our current video offering was and where we wanted to go into the future. And what we determined was we needed to build a new, more robust tool that would be more flexible, easier to integrate with, and so forth. And so that was kind of the vision when we started building Stream. And the roadmap has always kind of been to replace Office 365 video with Stream. And so we're taking our customers on that journey today. And we're giving guidance to maybe those customers that are new to video and just starting to adopt to start using Microsoft Stream, because that is what all of our Office 365 video customers will end up working with in the future. And so we've had a lot of good feedback so far to date, and it's an ongoing process, and we are working with customers to get them set up to successfully migrate and doing hand-holding so we aren't really putting the weight on them. And I think over the next few quarters, we'll see some more movement on those migration paths.
Yeah, we're writing the migration script, the ability to kind of lift and shift everything from Office Video to Stream directly so that customers don't have to do it themselves. And we're at the phase where we're kind of validating that code, making sure it works. We have successfully run migrations on 3 customers that have fully moved from Office Video to Stream already. And then 3 more where they're in this migration sync state where stuff from Office Video is one-way syncing automatically into Stream, and they're evaluating the content in Stream to make sure it's good. And then as soon as they give us the thumbs up, then we'll migrate them as well. So it's been a slow process, but we do have movement where there are now customers that successfully ran through this migration path to be able to be onto Stream.
Excellent to hear. Cool.
And is there, sorry, I don't want to go like too deep into the weeds around migration topic, but is there anything for organizations that have a lot of video content that they know they want to go take advantage? Maybe they have another third-party solution, or they've got something that's just, all of this content that's out in their own system. I know that with like SharePoint migrations and moving from on-prem to the cloud, one of the ways was that you could speed up the process was by moving the content over into Azure, because movement from Azure into SharePoint Online was easier, was smoother. Is there any guidance for organizations that are thinking in the future of moving down this that they can do to help with that process to speed that up?
Yeah, I think on that topic, our first kind of thing that we need to build first, which is on our list and we're working on now, is public APIs for Stream, so that you could actually run REST APIs, whether they're MS Graph or in Stream directly, where you can add content into Stream in a programmatic fashion. We kind of need to get to that milestone first before we can think more holistically about helping people to onboard and move people into Stream kind of in the same fashion that 4 years ago or 5 years ago with a big push was to move people into SharePoint Online, like you were mentioning. And so we kind of have to hit that milestone first, and that's kind of a bigger project for us that we are working on.
All right. Well, hey, didn't mean to interrupt with the rest of the demo. So anything else?
The other thing that I wanted to show off was how we kind of integrate with the rest of Office 365. So Stream has this concept of groups, and groups in Stream are tied completely to Office 365 groups. So this is a group called CEO Connection. It was actually generated from a Yammer group. So you create a Yammer group, it'll show up in Stream. You create a team in Teams, it'll show up. You create in Planner, Team Site, you know the drill around how Office 365 groups work. But now you can have a place in Stream where I can aggregate all my videos together. I can see all the videos. I can have, you almost get your own mini video portal for the group where I can have trending videos at the top. I could spotlight videos to the top. I can, put all my trending videos, I'll see that sort of stuff. I can see and search videos across this entire group itself. So here I can see, here's all the videos that are in this group. I can now search on them, sort them, filter them. And I can also do kind of a second layer of hierarchy of being able to create channels inside of that group. So here I have this one channel called CEO Monthly Q&A, and now I put all my videos in there that are related to that. And then once you kind of put stuff into channels, organize them that way, you can easily pull now the videos out and put them into other locations. So say if I wanted to jump over into Teams, Teams has this super awesome concept about tabs where you can add different tabs to the top of Teams. And so here, if I click this, you can see that there is a Stream tab by default there, which allows you to embed an individual video or an entire channel worth of videos. So here I already pulled out that CEO Monthly Q&A channel. And now if I click click on that tab, this is what it shows. Now those videos show up directly in line inside of Teams, and I can click to kind of play those and see them. So if I wanted to play that same video that we were looking at before, I could click it. Now I'm playing it directly inside of Teams. I don't have to leave. I don't have to come to Stream. I can kind of see it. And that same deep search capability works across all the places where we've put stuff. So you see this little magnifying glass in the corner. I can click that, and now if I search for the word aviation again, you can see all of those same results show up here, and I'm able to kind of jump and watch that part of the video where they are mentioning the word or the words that I searched for.
You know, there's a scenario, and I know Noah's heard me talk about this a lot, but the again, I'll use the example of the onboarding new employees. So when early in my career, I went and worked for Pacific Bell. It was the phone company in Northern California, and I was my day one. I was handed a binder, like, here is the binder of wisdom. Here you go. And I would go and ask people questions and be like, well, go check the binder. Like, I've looked at the binder. I found the high level workflow. There's no detail behind it. And then I would then proceed to sit with the person that created the workflow generally, and they give me all of the story around the workflow. I'm like, how would I ever figure that out? And those life experiences from this. And that's one of the things that's so powerful about having the video capability is even now as they go in and say, well, here's the official content, here's the process, here's how you proceed. I might find that, look, as the project manager on that owns this area, it's lacking on this. Let me talk about some real world experience of this, and then share that and just make that another video asset that when they go and search on it, they'll find the formal, they'll find the informal, the discussion in my own words, and to have that all, transcripted, have that captured so that we can find that multiple ways. But I see this working with development teams that are based in India, in Japan, in Australia, and over in Europe, and clients, where we're able to go in rather than try and write a lengthy email, go capture a quick, video of this and put it in there so that it's then a knowledge asset for those that come behind. Just really powerful.
Yeah, totally. And kind of on that capture front as well. One of the other cool things we did with the partnership with the Teams team is we worked with them on their cloud recording. So when you have a meeting and you use Teams to record, to have that meeting, maybe it is something where you are really just doing it to capture as some sort of like brown bag or some sort of training session where you just want to give a quick presentation to a handful of people, but you want to record it so you can share it out later. Or maybe it is kind of a weekly sync. You just want to capture the notes and what was said. When you do a Teams call, you can actually, there's a button now, it says click record, and it actually cloud records. So it's not recording on your PC. If you drop off, the recording's lost, kind of how Skype for Business worked in the past. It's recording in the cloud. It's always there. And when you're done, it automatically uploads that video into Stream, and it permissions the video to the attendees of the meeting automatically. And then it drops a little card in here. So I did this one really quick. It was just me sitting here doing it, but now I hit record. It shows me this little card of this meeting here, and I can click it. Now I can play that recording directly in line inside of Teams. I don't have to leave. I don't have to go, and I can share this with other people and play like, hey, you missed the meeting, go do the recap. And then that search would show up directly in there as well, where the transcript automatically afterward would be generated. This meeting I wasn't talking, so there's no transcript, but they show up automatically. And this became super powerful when I was on paternity leave from working, when I was out for a couple of months or so, and there was this key meeting. There was kind of a every 2-week meeting of partners talking about Office 365 groups and stuff, and I wanted to know what the heck was said in that meeting about Stream because I wasn't there, and what did we talk about? All I did is look at the recordings, put it at like 2x speed so I could kind of skim through them, and did a little search for, hey, where was Stream mentioned? And I was able to kind of like bring myself up to speed in a matter of just like 45 minutes to an hour and watch like 4 or 5, of these hour-long meetings, and jump to the parts that was actually super useful so I could bring myself back up to speed after I came back from a long break.
You just touched on something that everybody jokingly asked for, but man, I wish we could do the 2-3x speed on real time, on real life meetings. I mean, I never want to attend most meetings in person. I want to watch that back at 2x speed.
That's my default. Or 3 if I can. You start sounding like chipmunks though after
Yeah,
that.
you got the Alvin and the Chipmunks album playing in the background. That's awesome.
You also have the capability of playing natively in Yammer, if I'm not mistaken, right? You drop a stream URL in there and inline experience with Yammer.
Yeah, yeah. If you just grab a URL, I don't have one set up, but if I come in here
Sure.
and I go to this Yammer group in here and I just drop in line, I make a post and I just drop in this URL to this video itself. And I say, you know, check this out. And I
You've
hit
got one right below,
publish one
right?
right below there, yeah, as
Yeah.
well. So, and then it drops that directly in line, so you can easily play that video directly inside of Yammer, and you know the searching, all that sort of capability works right there. The other thing is we do allow our have the ability to embed directly in SharePoint modern pages. So we built a modern SharePoint web part for Stream. You can see what it looks like in the different kind of views here. So here I dropped in a single video for it here, and then here I dropped in the entire channel. And again, just same like any of these others, I can click that video, watch that entire video from the channel right side inside of SharePoint, which is super awesome to be able to kind of pull all the videos out into the location and kind of put context around it. It's not just the video itself, right? It's the context, it's the documents, it's the file, it's the conversation that actually adds to the video itself.
How recent is that web part, Mark?
We've had that for a good long amount of time.
Okay.
We updated this look and feel of this channel web part just recently in the last maybe 2 months.
Great.
Cool.
Excellent.
You guys have other questions? Otherwise, we could show you off some of the stuff that we did for live events. That's another cool thing that we launched into preview about, say, a month ago or so.
I was going to
ask what else is new.
Yeah, I was going to make one comment. It's like that when you were talking about how it aggregates into that one location around the group, the video coming from the different sources. I mean, that is something that's really powerful. It's very forward-looking for what Microsoft is doing as well. Kind of leading back to what I said is that you can interact with your team on your project within Yammer, within Teams, within SharePoint, and capture these videos out. You know, place them into each of those workloads, but then they'll be findable, searchable within the scope of that group, of that Office 365 group. And it's great that, you know, you make it very simple up front, where there's still a lot of integrations to be done across other workloads. That's something that is working today with Stream. That's pretty cool.
And there's also another entry point, if I'm not mistaken, in PowerPoint, right? You can take a PowerPoint and...
Yeah, we do have some pretty cool stuff that we did with the PowerPoint team. PowerPoint team has this pretty much hidden feature. You have to kind of turn it on in the backstage. But once you turn it on in the backstage, you add this recording tab here. And once you add this recording tab, it lets you do some really cool things. You can record yourself giving the slides, and it'll like put up your webcam voiceover on top of it, and you record slide per slide. If you wanted to rearrange those slides, the video would just slide with it directly. And then when you're done with kind of doing that, it also records your animation. So if you have animations or use the new morph stuff, inking, it records all the inking and it like replays all that stuff. And when you're done, you can actually publish that as a video directly into Stream. So once you kind of make your whole thing, you click this publish to Stream button, it'll open up the backstage. You can give it a title, you can give it a description, and then you can set whether everyone in the company can see it or not. You click publish, it'll render out a video on your machine and push it directly up into Stream, and then give you a link back to it. And then now people will actually see that video, the PowerPoint itself of you presenting, of your screen sharing that you can add onto it. So it's a pretty powerful tool to be able to create videos. Like I said, you can record your slideshow, you can insert screen recording. So I can actually just, you know, hit the screen recording button, select the part of the screen that I want, hit record and start recording and shove that in there. And then you can easily, you know, trim the videos and all that sort of stuff. So really cool way to be able to create content pretty easily with tools that people have already used and are pretty familiar with. People can put a couple of bullet points on a slide and they can kind of talk to it. And so now you can make that into a video.
So it's
that was like Office Mix, if you remember. So I was an Office Mix user. So that was something where I'd have these slide decks, these presentations that I'd go give internal or external. And to kind of, you know, you lose a lot by not being there at the live event, because the slides when you're presenting a session or your training is just, it supports what you're talking about. So to be able to go back in and have a little box with your picture and, you know, breathe new life into these old, still relevant, but older presentations by adding that video component is really powerful.
Yeah, we're really trying to pick up where Office Mix, left off and try to build out. This is kind of just the first start of what you would see from us with kind of picking up where they left off, and we kind of want to, keep going on that kind of idea that Office Mix started and kind of bring that into Stream as much as we can.
Now you're teasing us here with the mobile app, Mark.
Oh, I am. Yeah, I pulled up the PowerPoint slides. So yeah, this is the mobile app that we're working on right now. It is in beta, so we do have a handful of customers trying it out, kind of in the test flight and the early releases. And basically, it's going to be for iOS and for Android. And so it won't be the full copy of what you can do in the Stream portal. It's going to take a kind of differentiated approach to start with, and this was kind of so that we could go fast and get something out the door. But we also believe that we don't necessarily have to recreate the entire portal and do everything. We think mobile should do what it's good at, right? And so what we're focusing on for our V1 of the Stream mobile app is being able to do offline playback. So say you're getting on a plane, you're getting on a train, you want to grab these videos and download them to the device, and you won't have internet. So you can easily add stuff to your watch list and then mark a little video to mark a little thing to say make it offline. It'll download an encrypted copy of that video, and it stores the keys to decrypt that video in the vault of that OS for iOS or Android. And then every 7 days we say you can watch it offline for up to 7 days, but every 7 days we force you to go back on the internet and check, do you still have access to the video? Because all of videos in Stream are security trimmed. You can control the permissions and that sort of thing. And so that we want to make sure that yes, you still have access to this video that you took offline. And it'll be Intune managed. And we're also looking at kind of search capability to find videos, and then deep linking. If someone sends you a link to the video from email and you click it and you have the app installed, it'll just open up and play directly in the app. So
I was going to say that that feature where you're talking about the sharing and the kind of the time bombed or time limited access to that content. That was leveraged from the advanced capabilities of the Zune. So I don't have it in front of me, but I actually am an active Zune user, but that sharing was pretty cool. So for that, Mark and Christina, maybe we were never Zune users.
I know what Zune is. I never actually bought one. Never bought one.
Yeah. So but it was very cool that it had that sharing capability it was like the iPod killer for those that don't know that. But anyway, it wasn't quite successful, but it was a beautiful device and software app. But it had that ability to go and share, and so somebody who hadn't purchased the music, and you could basically share and move across from between devices a song or two, and they got I think 3 plays in 3 days or something like that. But it was a great concept. But something like that as well, I think it's great to ensure that that content is still valid, the licenses, the permissions are still valid.
Cool.
All right, so that's the mobile app, and then I think the big question, and we could kind of wrap on this, and then but is what's happening with the live streaming capability. So I know a lot of excitement around that when the announcements happened, and maybe you could bring us up to speed on what it is and where the team is.
Yeah, Christina, why don't you take that? And I have an event here in Yammer, so if you want to talk to that, we can as well.
Cool. Yeah. So I think about, it's been a few months now, we announced a preview of M365 live events. And what that means is we're bringing live events and the ability to live stream to a lot of applications across Microsoft, including Teams, Yammer, Stream. And we're doing this because we are seeing more video adoption in our organizations, but we're also seeing this growing need in enterprise for live streaming, which is probably no surprise. We see in our personal lives too. So we have kind of a spectrum of what we're offering to customers today. And it starts from just the need to be able to use your webcam, going all the way to wanting to produce these kind of studio grade, very professional looking events that we see a lot of leaderships and companies using live events for. And I think Mark has pulled up right here, and he can kind of walk you through it. An example of something we actually do at Microsoft when Satya, our CEO, is delivering his monthly Q&As, he's now relying on these live events capabilities to be able to do this. And it makes it more powerful through some of these integrations that we have across Teams and Yammer and Stream. to bring all of these together. And Marc, if you want to talk through the leadership scenario that we have here on the screen, we can kind of outline how we're doing that.
Yeah, so we think Yammer is a really great place for kind of that outer loop communication from leaders in the organization. Doesn't have to be a CEO, could be other leaders in your organization to kind of the rest of the employees. And the way that we've been using it internally at Microsoft is that's where all the conversations between us and Satya and his leadership team happen, us and our VP, where for our department, where that conversation kind of happens. And so the natural place is to have live events also show up there as well. And so lots of our leaders in our organization, VP levels, Satya level, do these kind of monthly Q&A where they get in a room physically and have a production crew. They film it and they have people ask questions live, and then they also have whoever isn't physically in that room, because we're so globally diverse. They ask questions on Yammer, and there's a moderator, and that moderator picks up some questions from the room, some questions from Yammer, and you kind of answer it live and kind of see that. So here, right inside of Yammer, so this is an example CEO connection group. You can see there's a bunch of group events on the side over here. So I can see all the events. This would jump me back to Stream for this group, because this is an Office 365 group. It jumps you directly to the Stream group that's associated with it, so you can see past ones. All right, if I'm an owner of this group or an admin of this group, I can schedule a live event right from here. But if we kind of think about how viewers and employees would look at this, they would see a live event. I don't have one running right now, so I'll show you an example of what one that's already finished looks like, but it looks very similar whether it's live or whether it's done. But you click in and you get to this event page. So this is leadership connection for 7/18, and the video of the live event shows right at the top. You can play it, and all the conversations and the questions and the things that are going on around that event, for that event, questions that you want to ask your leader, and employees interacting and talking with each other happens right here. As I kind of scroll down now, that video keeps playing in the corner, so I can easily get back to it. I can see it, I can listen, I can interact with the conversations. And then this is Stream behind the scenes, and we support it based off of external encoders. So basically, we were talking about there's two different types. One is Quick Start, where I use the Teams client to be my webcam, my screen sharing, that sort of thing. So that's one way that you can create a live event. And the second way you can create a live event is through Stream, which is using external encoders. So that could be hardware or software encoders. It could be OBS, it could be Wirecast, it could be Switcher Studio, it could be a high vision, high end encoder that you have running in a rack. And we're able to take the output of that and feed it into Stream and into Office 365 via RTMP ingest, so that you can have your 5 cameras and your audio switcher and your producer who puts the overlays and all that sort of stuff. And then it feeds in directly, and you can watch it here in Yammer. So this is kind of the hero scenario of conversation with this. But if you aren't using Yammer, you could watch it in Teams. If you are using Teams, if you're not using either of those, you could also watch it in Stream directly. And then you can, since this is a Stream video, now I can spotlight it to the home page of Stream. I can add it to groups and channels and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, there's, one of the thoughts too is you kind of mentioned it, but what's powerful about this is that by doing this method, you're basically the conversations that happen, the thread of the questions that are asked, the answers that are provided, then become a knowledge asset. It's there within the in Yammer, so that again, new employee comes on, if you're starting to see a lot of questions, say, hey, look, we talked about this back in January at the all hands, and here's a link to the video and all the discussion around that, so you can point people to that part of the discussion or that part of the video that's relevant.
Yeah, one of the cool things that we did internally with one of the teams that was kind of partnering with us to try this stuff out in dog food before it was even released to customers. It was, I forgot which team it was. It was like the Xbox team or something like that. People had asked questions ahead of time, like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time before the event. They had asked questions. And as I was kind of monitoring, making sure our code was working right and the live event was running correctly, I was also reading people's questions, and I was like, oh, we're answering your question right now. Stream has this cool capability where you can actually deep link to an individual part of the video. So while the event was happening, I paused the video, found that time code, grabbed a link, and posted back to the person in Yammer and said, hey, they're answering your question right here. Pasted it in. Now I don't know if they were watching the event live or not. I think some of them actually weren't, and so I drawed them back into the live event because my question was being answered. And then they could click and watch and see right inside of Yammer of the live event while it's not even done yet. they could see where their question was answered real time, which is pretty cool.
That is very cool. Well, excellent. So so as far as, this is out there and available right now, people can go play with this. Is anything else that those that are new to this that want to go try it out, where they go, what they need to do, what versions they need to have of just any Office 365 license that's enabled?
Yeah, the live events piece is in the licenses right now, and so we have it pretty well documented. If you go to the Stream help docs or the Teams help docs or even the Yammer help docs, all three of those help docs kind of intersperse with each other and kind of link back to each other. But we tried to be pretty purposeful about documenting what license types, what the differences are between when I'm using a quick start versus when I'm using kind of an external encoder, and kind of how all of that nuts and bolts of that work. So if you go out and search on the help docs, you should be able to find good information of where to get started and kind of the technical understanding and requirements around it.
Excellent. As part of this, do you also have the ability to go and like this discussion is something that I'll go and, if I had a large, corporation behind me, I might make this as an internal asset, or as I do, publish it out to YouTube so that the world can go and access that. So what are the external publish options for these live streams? And can you simulcast between other live options today? Or is that even on the roadmap? Is that something you guys have thought about?
Yeah, for the quick start, we have a couple of options. The quick start has a slightly different technical architecture than the external encoder. So quick start has a couple of more options built on Teams where I could actually make an event be open to anyone in the world, where they wouldn't need a login and they could watch that sort of thing. Or you could lock it down to your organization, or you could lock it down to just a certain set of people. The external encoder part of it is backed by Stream, slightly different technical requirements there, and so that doesn't have any external capabilities. It's always internal, but we are looking, one of those things on our future list is looking at how we can add external public anonymous access for VOD videos and for live video. So that's something that is on our backlog future roadmap, to where you can mark a video, mark an event, and say, hey, anyone could watch this. You could grab an embed code, put it on a public site, that sort of thing. And then if you wanted to kind of, we don't also publish to other platforms, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. We don't have any of that capability built in. We haven't really talked about any of that to this point. But you can, after the event is done, download the video itself and then go put it, if it makes sense for you to put it out and publish it as a podcast that you're sharing with the world. You could download a recording of that and then put it to YouTube or wherever you're publishing those podcasts.
Yep. Yeah, and then just to expand on that, as the event owner, you would be able to do that. Yep. And so I think security is obviously top of mind for us at Microsoft, and so we purposefully don't want every single video to be downloadable by anybody in the organization. And so if you're marked as an owner or somebody that can contribute and manage the video, then you do have that capability.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, thank you both for your time walking through this capability. I don't know, did you have any other questions?
Just curious if you've seen customers do novel things. Anything that surprised you, or a unique application of Stream for their business challenges? What are they turning to Stream for? Anything come to mind?
Let me think if there's anything fun. So we see obviously a lot of training, how to peer-to-peer knowledge sharing. So people that are SMEs of their own specific processes kind of just being empowered to quickly create videos and share them out with their organization. But something that I wasn't really expecting that we've seen a lot of, and even inside Microsoft, is people almost using it as a social tool to have these more personal connections, like around Father's Day. A lot of people within Microsoft started recording these videos of themselves and just saying like, hey, I want everyone to meet my family. Like, I'm a proud father. This is my daughter. She's going to college, and the next year, and she would come on camera and say, hey, everybody. And these videos started getting a lot of traction in Microsoft because we as humans, we want to know other people that we work with, or maybe we've never worked with, but we like to know things about their lives and their personalities. And so I think, at least for me, when we were building Stream Out, I was thinking very much enterprise, corporate comms, HR, those all were things that we were thinking about. But with video, you know, and it enables you to be able to have these more personal connections. And so we're seeing a lot of people use it for that.
What do you think of that?
That's fascinating.
Success of like Vine and of course, you know, Instagram video and Snapchat and kind of others, these short, you know, they shared out public, you know, storylines and information. Like it's I mean, where we get in a longer conversation around social collaboration and why it fails in certain places. But I advise, you know, friends and customers alike that you need to make sure that your communications, the way that you're working with people, that it's kind of the law of the thirds. There's a certain percentage where you can talk about project. Here's the structure. Here's what we're doing. You know, here's our expertise in this thing. Part of it, you could talk corporate. Here's what's happening in the company. But then a third of it, you have to have that personal connection, where it shows that there's it's a person standing behind the curtain, not just out there talking business all the time. And that's where people develop relationships, and that's where just collaboration improves when you have that personal connection. And it's true whether you're trying to reach
and video enhances that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to reach, you know, people you don't know, or work within a team of 10 people. Having that connection helps. Well, very cool. Well, thanks so much for your time, and we're looking forward to watching what happens, what comes out of Ignite in a couple of weeks, of course, and then we'll be back. You know, maybe following up with Ignite and any announcements that are made there, and catch up again with the latest announcements, latest features and capabilities.
Very cool. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Christina, thanks.
Well, thanks. And this was Loop 365, and we'll see you on the next one.